8:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madhavala and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, take a look at the headlines. The Finance Ministry announced today that the special commodity levy on potatoes and big onions will be reduced with effect from midnight tonight. The President and the Prime Minister worshipped at the Katharagama Devalaya and the Kirivihara Rajama Viharaya to obtain blessings for the upcoming New Year season. 24 tanks out of the 99 tanks in the Trincomalee oil tank farm will be directly managed by Sri Lanka. New health guidelines issued for January 2022. The risk of a dengue outbreak increases in 15 districts. In news overseas, Putin tells Biden new sanctions over Ukraine tensions could rupture ties. And in sports news, India beats Sri Lanka and wins the Asian Cricket Council Under-19s Asia Cup today. Those are the headlines, and now more to the details of the local news. The Finance Ministry announced today that the special commodity levy on potatoes and big onions will be reduced with effect from midnight tonight. The decision was reached on the directives of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa with the intention of providing relief to the consumers by reducing the current prices in the market. Thereby, the levy is expected to be slashed by 30 rupees per kilogram. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa worshipped at the Katharagama Devalaya and the Kirivihara this evening to obtain blessings for the upcoming New Year. The President and the Prime Minister participated in the Aushadha Puja and the Kapruk Puja of the Kirivihara Rajamahaviharaya. The President planted a sapling in the temple premises to mark the end of the year 2021. Around 400 members of the Mahasangha participated in the Pirit chanting ceremony held at the temple premises this evening. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And we continue with more local news. Minister of Energy Udaya Gammampila says that 24 tanks of the 49 tanks in the Trincomalee oil tank farm will be directly managed by CPC and 14 by Lanka IOC. Meanwhile, 61 other tanks are expected to be developed in the newly established Trinco Petroleum Terminals Limited and Lanka IOC as a joint venture, the minister revealed. The minister said thereby the CPC will have the control of 85 of these tanks. Sri Lanka plans to further lease out the 14 Lanka IOC-operated oil tanks at the Trincomalee oil tank farm to the same company for 50 more years, Energy Minister Udaya Gammampila further stated. He made these remarks at a special media briefing held at the Ministry of Energy. The minister further said that the CPC will retain 51% of the shares from the joint operations of these 61 tanks, while Lanka IOC holds only 49%. The Health Ministry has issued new health guidelines to be followed in Sri Lanka from 1st January 2022 until the 31st of January 2022. Director General of Health Services has requested the public to strictly follow the health guidelines when conducting events connected with the New Year tomorrow. Meanwhile, consultant Dr. Upul Disanayaka of the Colombo National Hospital said it is essential to seek medical treatment as the symptoms of corona and dengue are similar. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. The Finance Ministry announced today that the special commodity levy on potatoes and big onions will be reduced with effect from midnight tonight. The President and the Prime Minister worshipped the Katharagama Devalaya and the Kirivihara Rajamahaviharaya to obtain blessings for the upcoming New Year. 24 tanks of the 99 tanks in the Trincomalee oil tank farm will be directly managed by Sri Lanka. New health guidelines issued for January 2022. The risk of a dengue outbreak increases in 15 districts. And that was the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhaloka Vedamahatmya.
The main news story for tonight, the government has allocated 1,606 million rupees for disaster management activities in the year 2021. The centre said 240,860 families consisting of 927,824 individuals had been displaced. 359 houses have been fully damaged during this year. 25,704 houses have been partially damaged. Director General of the centre said 126 people died due to disasters during this year. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sidhalopa Vedamahatmya.
In Watchlight tonight, Director of the National Dengue Eradication Unit, Dr. Sudat Samaravira says the number of dengue patients has increased in November and December. He said the risk of a dengue outbreak has increased in 15 districts. And that came to you in the segment of Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of
Christmas and New Year sales with CIB Janajaya Vasana has commenced. Valuable prizes and vouchers for CIB bills during the entire month of December. 20% discount will be given for bank cards and for gift vouchers. Visit CIB today as well.
Headlines of the world news. Tens of thousands evacuated as wildfire spread in Colorado. Putin tells Biden new sanctions over Ukraine tensions could rupture ties. Third wave looms as India's COVID cases spike. Those were the headlines, and now more to the details of the world news. Tens of thousands of people have been evacuated and hundreds of homes have been destroyed as wildfire spread through the U.S. state of Colorado. The fast-moving fire is burning in Boulder County, north of Denver, and officials say deaths and injuries are likely as the blazes spread further. Some 30,000 people in the towns of Louisville and Superior were told to leave their homes on Thursday. Meanwhile, a state of emergency has been declared by Governor Jared Polis. Winds of up to 169 kilometers per hour is fanning flames across the region following a historic drought. And while the previous fires in Colorado have been in the rural areas, the latest blazes are burning in more suburban parts of the state. Russia's Vladimir Putin has warned his U.S. counterpart, Joe Biden, that imposing new sanctions over Ukraine could lead to a complete breakdown in relations. In a phone call late on Thursday, the Russian president said that such sanctions would be a colossal mistake. Mr. Biden, meanwhile, told Mr. Putin that the U.S. and its allies will respond decisively to any invasion of Ukraine. The call, requested by Russia, was the pair's second such conversation this month and lasted for almost an hour. It marked the latest efforts to defuse the tension over Ukraine's eastern border with Russia, where Ukrainian officials say more than 100,000 Russian troops have been sent. A sharp rise in COVID-19 cases in India over the past week has sparked fears that the third wave driven by Omicron is round the corner. The country reported 16,764 new infections and 220 deaths today during the last 24 hours. This is the highest single-day increase in cases since October. The jump appears to be the starkest in densely packed metros such as the national capital Delhi and financial hub Mumbai and Kolkata cities. And to conclude the world news, the headlines once again. Tens of thousands evacuated as wildfire spread in Colorado. Putin tells Biden new sanctions over Ukraine tensions could rupture ties. Third wave looms as India COVID cases spike. And that was the world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of
Christmas and New Year sales with CIB Janajaya Vasana has commenced. Valuable prizes and vouchers for CIB bills during the entire month of December. 20% discount will be given for bank cards and for gift vouchers. Visit CIB today as well.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070-400-1928.
In development news, Chairman of the National Authority on Tobacco and Alcohol, Dr. Samadhi Rajapaksa says they launched a mobile application to identify the illegal activities of tobacco and alcohol in the country. He said any person can download the app and send a photograph to the authority while following simple steps. Dr. Rajapaksa said that this application does not require any personal details for registration and the authority holds the full responsibility of the personal details and mobile numbers. And that came to you in the segment of Development News.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Moving on with sports news.
And in cricket news, India beat Sri Lanka and won the championship of the Asian Cricket Council's Under-19s Asia Cup today. The match was held at Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Batting first, Sri Lanka scored 106 runs for the loss of 9 wickets. The match was delayed due to the rain and India was given a victory target of 102 runs in 32 overs under the Duckworth-Lewis method. India hit the target score in 21.3 overs and to clinch the trophy. That was the sports news. Business news coming up.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U-Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In business news, Tesla is to recall more than 475,000 cars in the US, according to documents filed with the US safety regulator. The electric vehicle firm announced it was recalling 356,309 vehicles because of potential rear-view camera issues affecting 2017-2020 Model 3 Teslas. Further, 119,009 Model S vehicles will also be recalled because of potential problems with the front trunk or boot. The total recall figure is almost equivalent to the 500,000 Tesla cars delivered last year, Reuters reports. That was the business news, and economic news follows.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U-Trust.
Economic News, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
And in economic news, Cathay Pacific has announced immediate major cuts to its flight schedule, including cancelling passenger and cargo services to and from Hong Kong. The airline did not provide details on how many flights would be grounded, but it said it would operate a skeleton passenger schedule in January. It comes after Hong Kong announced tighter COVID-19 quarantine rules for air cargo crew earlier this week. The move was aimed at tackling the threat of Omicron COVID variant. That is economic news and the weather report to conclude.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The weather report.
And finally, the weather report. Showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the northern, north central, eastern and Nuwa provinces and in the Mathale and Nuwara Eliya districts. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the western, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces and in the Kandy, Galle and Mathara districts during the evening or night. Fairly heavy showers above 50 millimeters can be expected at some places in the northern, eastern, Sabaragamuwa and central provinces and in the Kaluthara, Galle and Mathara districts. Misty conditions can be experienced in the western, Sabaragamuwa and central provinces and in the Galle and Mathara districts during the morning hours. And before we conclude this bulletin of news, let's get back to the headlines once again. The Finance Ministry has announced today that the special commodity levy on potatoes and big onions will be reduced with effect from midnight tonight. The President and the Prime Minister worshipped at the Katharagama Devalaya and the Kirivihara Rajamahaviharaya to obtain blessings for the upcoming new year. 24 tanks of the 99 tanks in the Trincomalee oil tank farm will be directly managed by Sri Lanka. New health guidelines issued for January 2022. The risk of a dengue outbreak increases in 15 districts. In news overseas, Putin tells Biden new sanctions over Ukraine tensions could rupture ties. And in sports news, India beats Sri Lanka and wins the Asian Cricket Council Under-19's Asia Cup today. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news.